All right, stop me if I've asked this question before, but I read on the internet, somebody pointed out in like an Ask Men question, or I can number one without number two, but I can't number two without number one. And everybody was like, holy shit, I never put that into, like, look, I thought everybody was reacting because they just never realized that they could only go one direction with it. They couldn't go the other. And I thought that was just the funniest thing. Well, I was talking to Genevieve last night.
Yeah, bring me into this. This is good.
And she's like, what is so fucking funny about that? And I was like, well, can you number two without number one? She's like, yeah. Is that a thing? Is that a thing that women can do? Can you?
Yeah.
Can you pick
I am
selectively?
surprised. Why are you envisioning that as how? Like what?
I cannot number two without number one. I can only number one independently. There is no number two only.
Okay, wait. So why do you think it's only women? Like
he's asking. He's not saying.
Oh, okay.
No, I feel like it just more tends to coincide with like you're already there for number two, so why not number one? But you can definitely selectively number two without number one.
Other men in the room, can you number two without number one? I cannot. If there is any number one to be done, I can't do it alone.
This is not something that I actively think about.
Next time you're going, you're gonna.
I have awoken you. Next time you're sitting on the toilet, give it a try. You can't do it.
I believe I have done it.
What?
Yeah. Usually, if I already had a number one in recently,
Like an hour or something.
like tops, and there's just nothing in there.
Yeah, but if there's any potential, I can't not. And I think that's the burden that our sex has to bear.
Wow.
We get to pee standing up, but if we gotta poop,
It's
all
valves open.
Yeah, gyno.
Maybe your body is sitting and it's like, I like this better, so then you numbered one as number two.
I think I think this is science.
I think this is very, very literal potty humor, even for us, and I'm okay with it.
All right,
We're talking not about numbers.
Welcome to another installment of
Chris's subject.
What?
I love how as I'm talking, you're talking.
Yes.
I stop to hear you,
and
you stop. All right, welcome to another installment of Two Guns, No Ammunition. I'm really Two Guns. We're No Ammunition. We're gonna get started. Oh, today I got a Wawa coffee and I tried a new lid and it didn't spill as much. That's my mic identifier.
And I'm Chris and I hate those lids.
Yeah, they're not great.
I like the other ones better.
Yeah, but I fill them all the way up. I fill my coffee all the way to the brim. So any sausage in that other one.
Any sausage in
No,
the other coffee? Do you put
sloshage.
sausage in your coffee, Bill?
Sloshage.
That's an idea.
I knew what you meant, but it's a very clunky word you made up.
All right.
I have Genevieve and I have nucleuses.
You do?
You have
Yes.
nucleuses?
Nucleuses.
I believe it's
And
nuclei.
Nuclei. I have nuclei, also new glasses.
Also.
Did I tell you I went into the eye doctor like a couple weeks? Well, I went to the laser eye center and they're like, your eyes are too good. We don't have lasers for you. I was like, but I need glasses. And they said, we might just fuck it up.
It's
you
not
waste your
bad
money.
enough.
It's not bad enough. So I went into the eye doctor. I was like, all right, I'll get contacts. He goes, yeah, your eyes aren't bad enough for contacts. I'm like, dude, I see like double. And he's like, that's just your myopia. You're fine. I was like, all right, I guess playing rugby, I'll get rec specs. He's like, yeah, I don't think those will work either. I'm like, fuck. You can't see.
I'm Lisa, and I appear to be in the majority wearing jeans today.
Ah, yes. You guys are
Why did you
outweighing
bring
the
that-
sweats today.
Because I wore these and then thought about saying it on the
To
podcast.
be
Were you
fair,
proud
she's
that we
been on
almost had a whole mic identifier session without pants being involved?
She has been
We
on
opened the show
sabbatical.
with numbers 1 and 2 and their order. So, I mean, I didn't exactly have much to lose. But my name is Jake. I'm wearing jeans. No one cares.
Oh, no.
No one cares.
Oh, my God.
I hate you all.
All right.
Yes.
Here we are. We're in a minute. We're going to get into TGNA's first a joint group streaming experience. However, I just remembered that Genevieve and I have wanted to talk about a show for a few weeks now, and The Blacklist.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait,
So-
we talked about this a little bit off.
Probably
mic
off
before.
mic.
I have also seen the show.
So what I will tell you is, I avoided this show for a long time because like one of the main characters,
James Spader's character.
yeah, he wears like a fedora or something, and I was like, and he talks really seriously, and he acts like a badass, and I'm like, this is gonna be a fucking cringe fest. And since I empathize with characters in fake stuff like TV shows, I would then feel the cringe. And I said, I'm gonna skip it. Well, I finally watched everything else on Netflix I wanted to watch. And I was like, all right, I'll give this a try. And guess what? It rules. What do you think about it?
Well, now that all comes to mind, all that is coming to mind is the way he talks, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he blinks at all in any of his takes. Like, he just stares at you and does a lot of enunciating with his mouth.
Yeah, that is his style.
It's like the people talking who clearly think and maybe are better than everyone else, and they just have to show it at every single possible point. And if you're not doing the thing, then you are promptly put down and not referred to again.
So what's
very arrogant.
the premise of this show is
insane.
James Spader is a super criminal cool guy, and he's created a blacklist of other criminals that he wants to surreptitiously either murder or get arrested. And he's real smart, real clever. And his character's name is Raymond Reddington. Nobody's seen him in 30 years. Well, one day he walks
He's wanted by every government ever. He's so bad, so awful.
number one on the FBI's most wanted list.
And everyone in the whole country knows his face because he's so publicly wanted.
Yeah, so they walk him in. So he walks himself into an FBI field office, and he surrenders himself. And he's like, "Why? Why'd they do that?" And he's like, "I will give you this list of people if you give me immunity." And they're like, hell no to the immunity. And then he gets them like 10 super villains, and they're like, all right, I guess this will work out.
But
and the show continues with Lost level bananas twists. I mean, constant. What?
Insane.
Didn't
Too
see that coming. What? Like at one point they're like, has my memory been erased and I don't remember it being erased? It's amazing.
blam. What?
But his counterpart, the FBI agent Liz whatever
Keen.
He's like, oh, Spader goes in, Reddington goes in, he's like, I will only help you guys if I talk to Elizabeth Keene.
He was like a new recruit just
Brand
out
new.
of training.
Yep.
Young, pretty,
Yep.
Yeah.
kind of creepy.
So they're like, what the fuck? How do you know her? Why are you demanding to work with her? It's not like she's like super agent, Miss Experienced person.
We won't tell you for 2 seasons.
And no one seems to be questioning why after like the first 5 minutes.
But what's fun is that all the criminals that they catch are like, they think up, these different crimes that I never would imagine. Like, this guy smuggles dead women to China to be married post-mortem to dead sons who
So
were
in the
never married so they can go into Elysium in the afterlife. And the villain's like, I know you think our Chinese traditions are insane, but I'm super serious about it, and I'll kill you. So it's like the stuff that if you gave me 1 million years, I would never imagine writing a script about. And that's pretty engaging.
Yeah,
But
we watched all the seasons.
it's got some really good other characters in it. Like
I like Denbei and Kaplan.
so there's Mr. Kaplan, Raymond Reddington's cleaner, who when Raymond kills somebody, chops them up and gets rid of their body or whatever they do.
Yeah, all the
cleans it up.
evidence, all fingerprints, anything.
But Mr.
Kaplan
is a woman. Oh my God. Dembe is this super hunk guy from Africa who was kidnapped as a child slave or something. And now he's super loyal and he's a super cool mercenary bodyguard. My favorite one is this actor who's from Canada, and I don't know which American accent he's trying to put on, but he always kind of sounds like he's got something in his mouth. and, like, what's his name?
Oh my god, it's great. It's like Diego something German, and he's from Canada. Like I can't remember his
Diego something German.
No, the white guy with the haircut.
Yeah.
The fucking meathead.
Yeah, no, his name is Diego. It's like
Shut up.
Yeah, no, I'm not. You have my phone. I can't look it up.
Here, I'll
but
pass it over
That's
to you.
racist.
So
I want to say it ends in like.
So like he's
Hassan,
like, I'm very serious. I'm a good cop. He's not quite doing the James Spader enunciation. Excuse me, but he's trying to be like this deep character who has he has conflicts with his
I got
like embedded sense of righteousness. What's it?
Diego Klattenhoff.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
And he looks like he's a white blonde boy. Like
yeah. Well, and
where's Diego coming from? And you're Canadian?
In reality, what it is he's the FBI Chad. He's their super jock.
Chad.
Oh yeah.
And like everything works out for him. You know, he's not a great actor, but the character is just such a fucking barrel of monkeys.
He's also like the Boy Scout who's got to do everything by the rules and super anal about like gotta do what's right. I'm tough, strong man.
And then there's this sexy
foreign lady that they killed off the first one and then got another one to replace her.
Oh yeah, the sexy Israeli girl. Or is she Iranian?
Iranian.
Is she Iranian working for Israel? I don't know.
No,
but
she's Iranian. From is it Mossad?
Yeah, she works for Mossad.
Okay.
But she's like, the actress herself's like pretty tall, and when they first introduce her character in each of the first 3 episodes, they're like, "Oh, you're really tall." And they set up her with the whole will she, won't she, but you'd say that's cliche. But the show's so much fun. You're like, I don't give a fuck. Whatever. And the action scenes are pretty good. And the way that each episode wraps up is some really clever Ocean's 11 level, like,
explain
this is how I planned it all along. And I love it. I love it because I can't figure it out. Sometimes I figure out the twist, but not the whole thing. And they explain everything, and I fucking love it. I don't like wondering.
The show is just going 100 miles an hour at all times.
All times.
Yeah, you think, oh, it's slowing down.
Nope.
Nope, just
fires.
kidding.
So they fire all cylinders, and then just when you think they couldn't fire more, there are more cylinders.
Yeah.
They all start firing. A lot.
But they do have some weird juxtaposition of like scenes where like they'll have the will they won't they relationship of the coworkers, and then it's like a fight scene right after, and then they'll cut away from that to go back to the romantic scene, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't care.
The oh shit, there's one character on that show I really love. I'm trying to remember who it is.
Describe.
Oh no, it's the main chief guy.
Cooper.
Cooper is this like he's probably like 7 feet tall, wears a suit. He's a black fellow. They even deal with some like police African American black tension in one episode, and he talks about it from his point of view since he's a super cop too. But he must have gone to the Barack Obama school of enunciation, because I was like, these guys talk exactly the same. Like, I don't. Either he saw Barack, he's like, that is how I'm going to talk from now on. It is unbelievable.
Maybe the director gave him notes and was like, so you're going to play this guy who's Obama, but FBI super top, like co-director or whatever.
Obama.
Yeah.
FBI Obama.
Yeah. And if Obama was like 260 pounds,
Yeah.
8 feet tall, and pretty scary. All right. So anyway, we watched all 6 seasons, and I got to tell you, I loved every one of them. They even had a baby born in a series, which like almost always torpedoes a goddamn series.
And like it kind of dipped a little bit, but came back.
I think what happened was the actual actress got pregnant. I'm sorry, pregnant, and they were like, "Well, I guess we can just instead." I like that television has advanced to the point where instead of being like, "We're only going to shoot you from the boobs up," or like, "You're off the show. We can't have a husky lady on the show."
Or for some reason, you're always behind a chair.
Yeah.
Or like
holding
a box.
She's in a coma at college, so we won't see her for 9 months.
In college.
Yeah. Now
she went to college in her coma.
Now they're just like, "You're pregnant. Let's do like a couple episodes to this." Ugh. maybe when I'm a parent, I'll give a shit, but I'll tell you right now.
Right.
Ever since Rachel had that fucking baby and ruined everybody's friendship on Friends,
Yep.
she's got 2 strikes, and that's all you need to be out for me.
What's the first one?
They were on a break.
Oh, okay. All right.
They were on a break. Ross got a little action, that whiny little bitch boy. Good for him. And she then she got pregnant, and the show got torpedoed. So anyhow, I recommend Blacklist. If you like somebody revealing that Ocean's 11 style plan, whatever, but you don't take it super seriously. It was like a mainstream media show. They wrote it for like regular TV, so it's a lot of it's what you expect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. All right. Speaking of broadcast television, we broadcast entertainment of our own the other day.
What?
Oh man. Beep boop beep boop.
So our boy here, Dr. Wet Farts, took the reins and
I
said,
hate that it's now coming up on my search for YouTube. Like as like the first. As soon as I type like D in there, I'm like, fuck this.
Good. Good. Lasting impression.
Dr. Whetstone Farts.
And I highly debated with myself if I should give it a downvote or like a thumbs down.
Oh, as sort of as an aside,
But no one had voted, so I was like, I can't be the only one and tank this for you guys.
One of my friends I used to work with, she's from New Jersey. She's dating a guy. Where's Matt from?
Oh, they're married, by the way.
She was dating a guy. Now they're married.
Is it Oklahoma?
No, that's where they live for the Air Force. He's from somewhere over there. I think he's from a flyover state. And she's got this like fucking accent. So we were sitting around drinking one night, and she's like, what did she say? She's like, someone farted and it's so bad, but she said it in an accent. And Matt's like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, she farted, it's so bad. It stinks, it's so bad.
Fart.
So that's what Dr. Wet Farts always makes me think of, because he's got 2 A's in it. But yeah,
I'm glad.
So what was the first game we tried? Amnesia, right?
Amnesia, yes.
Yeah, that was a spooky spookum.
It was spooky.
What happened when we first got fired up and tried to give it a go?
We were hearing like double, triple, quadruple of ourselves. It was a mess.
Yeah, it was like
Like echoing?
Yeah.
we were trying to diagnose the problem. I remember because I was watching him play the game through Discord. He was broadcasting through OBS to the YouTubes, and Jake was on as well. And Jake was like, okay, when Bill speaks, I hear him 3 times. When Chris speaks, I hear him 1 time. And when I speak, I hear myself twice. And I was like, I hear you both twice. And Chris is like, everything's fine to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't see anything wrong with this situation.
So we had to like try to figure out what was going on. And eventually I sent a message in the group chat and I heard boogunk, like the notification. I was like, I think Chris is piping his desktop volume through. Yeah. And then he and Jake went into some elite audio nerd speak. And they troubleshot it. I don't have any fucking clue what's going on, but
you just have to like direct the audio from all the different audio sources and inputs so precisely, or something goes awry.
Yes,
and that's what we set up. And it's basically, as long as you don't touch anything, or if you account for that when you need to make a change, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
As long as your computer doesn't betray you, and as a developer, I assure you, it will.
It will. Absolutely.
Because some fucking Windows nerd is going to be like, let me just throw this update in here, and nobody cares if it erases all their preferences in YouTube streaming. So here's my question: why did we end up going with the YouTubes instead of streaming on like Twitch or something?
Familiarity.
Oh, okay.
You also can't like I know at least between YouTube and Twitch you're not allowed to simulcast. Okay. I don't know 100% what all the rules therein are, but the streamers I watch have mentioned that a few times. Like they have to do like one live show.
Well, why
on
would
YouTube.
they not allow simulcast? Like what?
I'm not an expert. I just know it's a thing. But yeah, so there's that too. Also, OBS, I don't think unless you get like some premium version of it, won't let you simulcast anyway. Like you can only put
it only gives you the option for one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we just kind of have to pick one. We do have our only platforms right now are still YouTube and SoundCloud, I don't have any particular love for YouTube, but familiarity makes sense. I've streamed a couple times too, but I didn't like make it obvious.
Yeah, you guys did it a couple of times. You streamed individually, and then I think I saw one where you, Jake, and you, Chris, were streaming super hot, and you ended up posting that video. And I watched it. The audio was a little off, but it was still an interesting video.
Yeah, for the first I was having a similar problem that Chris was having for the first 20 minutes or something like that, where basically like my mic was being piped into OBS, and then the desktop audio, which was also blowing out my mic, or sounding my mic sounds.
Right.
They were both going into the stream at the same time, so there were two of me. Yeah.
What I really enjoyed is while we were all on mic figuring it out, I have my little blue snowball on a boom arm that I made, and as opposed to wearing a headset, which I think, Chris, you wear a headset.
Yes.
And then instead of my speakers, I ran it into some headphones. I stole them from Genevieve, actually. And she walked in the room, and she'd be like, she couldn't hear anything except for my comments and see the screen, and she would just be like, what the fuck is going on? And then it would go over the stream with no explanation.
You're welcome.
And then
if you hear a mouse in the background.
Yeah, and then someone either Jake or Chris would comment, and I'd be like, hey, Genevieve, like they're picking you up, and she'd go, fuck you. But it was pretty cool, and
fun.
I put on the stream to watch, and I found that the video quality coming through the YouTube stream was far superior to what I was seeing on the Discord. So I was like I couldn't tell what the hell was going on the last one we played, which was Hotline Miami. I was like, all I saw were like flashing bricks a couple of times, but it looked great on the stream.
Yeah, I wonder why that happened. I don't know.
It could be, I think my roommate shared our Wi-Fi password with the neighbors.
Bastard.
And
who does that?
I think they're downloading mega porn, so who knows.
Mega prawns.
But
different than regular prawns.
Different. But dude, I can't tell you how much fun it actually was.
Oh yeah, it was a blast.
And I am really impressed by how far technology has come. I think this is me being like an old fuddy-duddy, but I was like, surely the quality will be terrible because the delay between all of us will be awful. And aside from a few,
Can you talk like that all the time?
I could.
Please don't.
Aside from a few tweaks, like I had my volume threshold too low. So Genevieve was listening to the stream as we were playing because I asked her to. And she's like, I'm missing the first word of what you're saying.
Yeah, like Chris
like a noise gate on.
Yeah.
Chris and Jake were totally fine. Like I assume everything they were saying because it all made sense. But then I would get like the last word of Bill's sentence.
The thing that was really driving me nuts at some point, though, was like I was shouting at Chris and you were just ignoring me.
That's
like
normal.
Totally ignoring me. And it's like, I couldn't, I was really getting into your success of the game. So I was like, I had that urge to like, give me the fucking controller. And when you finally did pay attention to me, I was wrong. So I was like, this behavior's only going to continue. Chris, do this thing. Chris, do this thing. But I get to that point where I'm like, wait, can he even hear me? So I pull the mic out of the stand, I press it against my mouth.
And yell.
Chris, look under the table. And then, oh my God. Speaking of amnesia, I thought we couldn't figure out how to boil some liquids.
Oh my God. How long did we spend on that?
Wait,
I
what?
remember that.
What?
There was a couple puzzles in that game that I could not for the life of me. It took me forever to figure them out. And I think boiling something, or you had to concoct something, was near impossible.
Apparently I was turning the valve in the wrong direction.
I remember that there's a valve room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Piece of shit.
Piece of shit. Yeah,
Yep.
but I mean, it was creative and it was cool. I mean,
Yeah.
But fuck.
Yeah, the puzzles
But
that you put in the game are good. I think they're good, and then the rest of the game, whew,
Yeah, it's spoopy.
Have you played it again since then?
I have not. Not yet. I've been playing several other.
I'm ready to jump on that stream and play that again whenever you want. But it's interesting. I'm starting to get a feel for what I think might be good on stream. Like, mostly, action games, if they're games we're not good at, I imagine would be fun. Amnesia and Hotline Miami would probably be good if we were any good at them.
Right.
Right? We were playing Hotline Miami, and I didn't realize
That game was hard, bro.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was like your first time playing. I thought you had beaten the game, which is I was giving you a load of garbage. And you're like, bro, I only played this for like 5 minutes. I was like, oh, shit. So we got stuck on this one room for like 30 minutes. And of course, Frank's like, I'm going to jump on the Discord because don't forget I'm part of this group, even though I almost never participate anymore.
Yep.
Like when he walked in last week, do you guys want me to get on the mic for the Steam section? I mean, you know, I'm here. Do you want it? Yeah,
It's
Daddy.
exactly like that.
Yeah, Daddy, please join us, Daddy. He's like, oh, I'll get on the Discord, and
So thirsty.
he couldn't make his fucking microphone work. He's like, oh, my microphone's only $60. It's probably why it didn't work. I'm like, mine was like,
That doesn't
mine's
mean
a
shit.
$20 microphone. And get your act together.
You could you could answer it on Discord on your phone, and,
Yeah.
and you just use your phone mic if you had to.
So he, what he did do was send messages through the Discord chat talking shit about how low quality the stream was. Like, yeah, we should just wrap it up. Chris is never going to beat this. And
Oh
then,
my god.
and then Chris beat it. But my least favorite and most favorite part was that he was trolling you just a little bit and eliciting responses from you over the microphone of the stream. In response to something he typed that our two listeners had no idea what was going on. We sounded insane.
But I am.
So accurate portrayal.
So, and it was, we got to the point where it was like, I don't know. I keep thinking we're like, either I'm not coming across, or like we lose somebody because Jake was doing something and Chris is ignoring me. So I'm just sort of talking into the ether. So I'm like, all right, I guess I just got to banter with myself. And then I lose all reference of where we are in the game or what's going on. I have no idea.
Are we sure that it's not just they're ignoring you?
But I think that's what it is. and then like,
Well, I was trying to get fucking Frank figured out.
Chris will
A lot of it.
get stuck in the game, and then I'll jump back in, not having no idea what's going on, fired up because I was cracking jokes or whatever. I'll be like, dude, just do this thing. And I'm totally wrong. It happened the whole game. It happened both games. Oh, man.
Every time I
Moral of the
listened to
story.
Bill, it was death.
Well, I did sort of give you the right answer in Hotline Miami, our
Yeah.
second stream.
Yeah.
But, we did like, 2-hour streams, and that seemed to work
Yeah.
out pretty well. That was a lot of fun. I like sitting down and coming over. One of these days I'll play. I'd like to be the player, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to fine tune OBS before I even get there. But like I said, it was enjoyable, and I was really impressed with how well everything performed. Like, we were all over the internet, and internet voice protocol is notoriously patchy and spotty, or at least it has been historically, but it was really good. Really quick, not a huge delay. It sounded like we were having almost an in-person conversation, but I'm looking forward to when Genevieve and I sit down and start doing our playthroughs right next to each other. Because those couch side-by-sides, there's something to be said for, you can turn your face and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
The fuck?
Did you miss that map?
And then you can actually take control. Like take
Yeah.
the six.
Well, and then I can take control, and then I can blow it as I try to put my money where my mouth is, and then I can sit down and be humble, right? But do you guys consume live stream? I'm still more of a let's play kind of guy. Like, I like to watch the sort of edited and broken up ones and that kind of stuff. But do any of you guys consume live stream?
Not gaming, but podcasts, sure.
Yeah, podcasts and stuff. Yeah, not so much on the gaming, though.
Yeah, I've started trying when I can to jump on to people's live streams, because I know how excited I get when we have 2 viewers who aren't members of our podcast. So there's this guy I watch, Scotty.
Doesn't know.
Mc something or other. He's a car guy, and he's in his 70s, and he just talks all about cars all the
You're
time.
gonna say he plays games.
No, he started streaming live like on Tuesdays or something in the middle of the day, and I was like, oh shit. I tried to listen. He's like, all right, everybody, thanks for joining me. I didn't get to talk to him. I was bummed.
Oh no.
But how the hell do we get more viewers? Is it just consistency? because
I think it's consistency, and then as soon as you start to get more viewers, the more YouTube will put you up on the front.
Yeah.
Okay, because there are old fellers who play like RuneScape, and they have like 400 viewers. We don't even have 4. And I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, how are we gonna get 4 more?
They have more than 100 times what we have.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I thought it was a blast. You guys have any thoughts on the whole experience?
It was fun.
It was a great time.
Should do more.
Yeah. And it's like we're hanging out, but we're all still at each separate homes.
You don't even have to put pants on.
It's really good for our personality types.
Yeah.
We get the hermit experience.
Yeah, exactly.
No eye contact, nothing. Well, what games?
And you can totally ignore someone and they'll think it's a technical issue.
Let's talk around. Let's talk around the room a little bit. What do we think about would be good games for us to play next? Genevieve and I, when we do our Let's Plays and we upload it to the channel, we're gonna do we're gonna start with the Tomb Raider series, because I'm excited for you to play that character. I think you're really
never played Lara Croft.
I think you're gonna like her as a character, but that wouldn't be a good live stream, because I'm sure we're gonna get stuck and it's gonna be like 30-minute time wipe as we figure out this puzzle made in the ancient times when games had magic pixels. But what do you guys think would be good? Broforce, maybe? You ever played that?
No, what is that?
Broforce is a 4-person multiplayer where it's like a 8-bit art style or whatever. The whole world is destructible and you're just different action heroes, but they changed the names to have something like bro in them. Like
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's like a side scroller, co-op side scroller. Right?
Yep, and it's like a one hit from the enemies, you get killed, and there's explosive stuff and rockets that fly all over the place.
Amazing.
And you can play up to 4 people. And I'm trying to think of the different characters that there are. Is there like the Brodator or the Predator? There's the Predabro, like the Predator. Geez,
like
Rambro. All
yeah.
things like that. I'd have to look up the characters, but it is a great fucking game. It comes on sale like $4 every once in a while. And now I think that would be a lot of fun to play. I don't know if we can play it over the internet together, which would be ideal.
So we don't have to see each other's faces.
Yeah. So we can all play remote. I mean, that's really the big make or break. If we could get party games that we can play from far away from each other.
Just makes it easier.
Yeah. But what else? What else you guys think we should play? Any old games that you guys are good at? You think we could just cruise through?
Cruising.
I don't think there's ever been a game that I've just been able to cruise through.
I have this Rayman game.
What?
Oh,
N64.
yeah.
Oh my God.
I remember that.
So fun. I still can remember how to do some of the levels, but I don't remember if I ever beat it because for some reason we had issues saving it, my brother and I, when we would actually play it, so we had to leave it on the entire time, and then one time my mom turned it off and I got really mad.
I'm sure it's gone.
But
the battery probably died by now. I had that happen.
Oh no, on the one time we were playing it, she had turned the console off by accident and like wiped our file. But I still have the game. I played it.
Well, I mean, the way it saves, they have a little...
the save is probably all gone.
Right. They have a little battery in them.
Yeah.
And I was stomping all over Donkey Kong 64, and then one day it's like, it's gone. My shorts eat them. So, whatever.
Eat pants.
That would be a lot of fun.
I have an old Spyro game.
Oh, my God. See, Spyro games are, like, challenging enough. They got that nostalgia.
They're hard.
But, like, they're not impossible.
No.
So we could still talk a little bit over it.
Did they remaster that? They did
remaster
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But there's something to be said for playing the original because it looks so bad.
But in the best way.
There's like PlayStation original polygons.
I didn't realize how bad that looked until like recently. Like back then I was like, oh, this is the best air. And now I'm like, oh, God.
At the time. You're like, yeah, this is great. Can never get better than this.
Well, you can still hold on to that magical feeling as long as you don't look at anything better.
I really
ever. So don't open your eyes unless at that screen.
No, I mean, like, if you look at real life, your brain's like, okay, this is real life. Of course this looks good. And you look at Spyro and you're like,
of course this looks good.
This is fun.
Checks out.
And then you look at, like, Neo, and I'm like, oh, I'm playing a live-action role-playing game. Oh, wait, no, this is a video game, and it's amazing.
Yeah, but
I mean, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but I feel like when I'm playing a game that has a lot lower quality because it's an old one back from, I don't know if it has a nostalgia part to it too, but if you're playing for a while, you forget that it looks bad compared to the stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just
Yeah.
playing it. You're like, oh, this is great. Okay. Going through it. You're like, okay, the monster looks like this. And he's literally a rectangle blob. Perfect.
Yep.
If the game is
Kill
fun
him.
to play, it'll suck you in.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't really have it'll look hilarious.
Oh, yeah, that does sound like fun.
Oh.
Wait, no, I have the perfect game that we should play.
What is
I
it?
have this old PS1 game that I had playing on my PS2, so I could never save it. It's a single or 2-player game. Have you ever heard of Load Runner?
Yes.
No.
I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it.
So it's a little 2D, like get through the screen map kind of thing. So there'll be like different puzzles. I kind of forget all the specifics of it, but there's some enemies that you can't run into, and they'll kind of chase you around a little bit. And you're in like this jungle, like you're called the Load Runner, and it's either 1 or 2 player, and you have to. The map's only one screen, so you're just trying to get through the screen. There's different portals or different things you have to climb and collect coins. And once you collect all the coins, then the door at the top will open, and then you still have to get up there. It's really fun. Really, really fun.
It's like
really low graphic, but
yeah, it's like Jumpman meets oh god, what am I thinking of? Damn it, it's gone. But it's an old school style
kind
game.
of Pac-Man-y.
Pac-Man, yeah. There's an element of
Where
that.
you play a little guy in a jungle, and you just have to navigate through each level. It's super fun.
You know what game I'd like to play? And I stream it so other people can enjoy it. Because you remember Glover?
No.
Where you were a glove that rolled around on a ball, and the puzzles were like throw the ball up the stairs.
What?
I think that whole game would be a trip.
How have I never heard of
It
this
sounds
game?
like
It's like a little like sentient glove that moves around by jumping on a
the
ball.
Hamburger Helper guy.
Yeah, it looks like the Hamburger Helper guy, and there's a little
Yeah.
like
Oh, I remember
him.
this.
yeah. It's
Is
pretty
that like
one.
what happened like post Glover career? He became the Hamburger Helper guy.
I think
Maybe.
that's probably what it is.
He's
where-
got to put food on the table.
That was his fallback option.
Literally.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Also more literally because he's a glove.
Exactly.
He does
And
the
he's
words.
literally putting food on the table to be able to put food on the table.
Meta eating.
Meta eating.
I'd really like to figure out, and I think there's a way I'd like to figure out how to run a Nintendo 64 emulator that we can all remotely play. And I looked into doing it like 3 years ago, and there was a walkthrough on how to do it, and it was kind of complicated, which means by now somebody has like a quick download kit and a YouTube video to walk you through it. But I think it would be a blast if we downloaded like old shitty N64 multiplayer games and just tried to trash each other. Now, I'd say Blitz, but you guys don't want to.
Mario
Step to this.
Kart and
Well-
64
Bruh.
multiplayer mini game mode.
I am the biggest sack of shit at multiplayer.
I am so
or
good at it.
Mario Kart, any of them.
You have Star Fox 64 multiplayer.
I will
Yo,
smoke some people in Star Fox.
Yo,
I
look
st-
I
out.
will die.
Look out.
I want to get a
Hope your body
complete
is
medal
ready.
achievement on in that game, because then you unlock the pilots walking around with bazookas in the multiplayer.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
Yep.
they're super hard to hit.
And I got close there, and then I somehow erased the game. I think I pulled it out in the middle of it saving or something. And anyhow, so it looks like we're looking at
We're just gonna go
You
past
suck at
that.
pulling out, Bill.
Phrasing.
uh,
Yep. Thank you, Chris. I was like really worried no one else was getting that.
all right, so we've got some old stuff that we think would be fun. Any new games that would be fun to stream?
I mean, when I eventually get Kingdom Hearts 3.
Playing with the Kingdom Hearts.
don't
I
know
heard
when
it was
that's gonna be.
disappointing.
Oh.
Don't say that to me, Chris.
Okay.
Chris, you're hurting my feelings.
Sorry.
I really
I'm
wanna
sure you'll
experience-
enjoy it if you're a fan of the
gonna love it.
Chris has
series.
the
I think
inside
because I
scoop.
didn't like a lot of things about 2, but I still love the game.
Well, I mean, I feel like if you're a heavy fan of a series, I don't mean fat. I mean, like, if you're really into a
The
series.
fatter you are, the more
Of
you
the
like
series.
it.
You can stumble your way through a poorly executed iteration, right? You'd be like, all right, well, maybe the next one won't be so bad.
And I didn't play any of the non-PlayStation games that came out because I didn't have any of those systems at all, so I don't even know what those were.
Oh, anybody in the room familiar with the Xbox game Mercenaries?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Xbox and PS2.
Yeah. Okay, that's one we got to play.
The first Mercenaries was amazing.
The bomb diggity. The second
one was actual trash.
It was like, I think somebody bought them and they're like, well, we have this old Grand Theft Auto engine laying around. Oh, the kids will like it. I pre-ordered that shit. That is when I lost my betrayal virginity when it comes to pre-orders. I was like, oh, never again. This was a goddamn abortion. I hate it.
Whoa.
Oh, I have a game. I haven't actually played it yet, but I got it when I bought the PS. No, I think it's a PS2 game. Anyway, one of my coworkers gave me all of his old PS2 games, or some of them. Maybe it was PS. No. I think it was a PS2 game. Anyway, you play these giant mecha robots, and you just like throw each other around a giant city. It's just like a big multiplayer fighter game. Sounds very fun. I was told it was fun. I feel like we would all be equally as bad at it to begin with, and that would be very exciting.
That reminds me of that game Rampage. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Rampage World Tour.
Yeah, you're like the monsters and you run around a city smashing it up. And eating
like
people.
Godzilla?
Yeah, you're like a knockoff Godzilla, knockoff. I almost said Donkey Kong, King Kong.
I'd be Donkey Kong.
It's all good stuff.
Conky Dong.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep doing that. If you're curious, if you're somebody who's thinking about streaming, it's not nearly as hard as it used to be. If it's hard at all, you can look up OBS, which is open broadcasting software. It's free to download. It's really good. The microphone that I use is a Blue Snowball. You can get for $50 new or $20 on eBay. Pretty high quality. I mean, I sound good coming across to you guys, right?
Yeah.
And then,
I use the same one.
And then how easy was it to interface with YouTube and start streaming using OBS?
It was very easy.
Yeah.
It was very easy. YouTube has like the creator studio, and all you really have to do is just put the site key or whatever, the stream key into OBS from YouTube, and that it pumps you right in. As soon as you hit start stream on OBS, it pumps you right into YouTube.
It's that easy now.
Yeah.
And then it works the same way with Mixer and Twitch.
Yep.
And, just plug go into your account, like settings or whatever, find your stream key, paste it into, give it to no one else, paste it into OBS and hit go.
So what else? These are the questions I had when I first started. On what else do we use? You use a virtual mixing board, right, Jake? It's something banana.
Voice meter banana.
Okay.
And Chris uses it too now.
So that's really great. And then
it lets you have it's a little finicky to get it set up at first, but once you do so, it lets you very tightly control your audio routing for everything.
And I'm going to tell you right now, don't get your hopes up that you're going to be a big time streamer. The advice that I got is just consistency, getting content out there, and you might eventually break through. But I've had to come to terms with the fact that we're doing this for fun, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But hey, if you guys are interested in that, good luck, and keep checking us out. And we're gonna kick it to a break. So catch you on the flip side. No joy, only pain. No sunshine, only rain.
No pain, no gain.
Jesus Christ.
Snakes on a plane.
Genevieve has this shirt.
I'm wearing it still.
Yeah. It's 4 lines of no pain, no gain, and then they highlight each word in the row differently.
Yeah, so it goes diagonal.
And my favorite part about it is, you ever seen like an 8 or 9-year-old kid walk around with like football monster or something? Yeah. And you're like, bro, you got that prepubescent
like 5.
pudge.
You're a child.
You're not
I can wreck
hard
your shit.
And then
You calm down.
Genevieve she wears a shirt, no pain, no gain, as loungewear. So it's like this super hard for no
I
pain,
work out
no
in it sometimes.
gain.
I wear it to practice.
He's like sitting around drinking his cider.
Cider's hardcore, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
No pain, no
Hardcore
gain.
store. All right.
Is it?
Shit.
Oh wait, is it always when I'm hanging out with you?
Oh.
Burn.
Okay. Liesler, you have gotten your tentacle fingers on
Their tentacles now.
made of worms and salad. You've gotten your hands on a
That's what
new
tentacles are.
update for Civilization 6, right?
Yeah.
Ah.
What do you we
Remix.
we often hear from Robot Frank about Civilization
But
since
he's not here.
he's got a couple of eons into that game. Yeah. What do you think of it? What's going on? What's the update like?
So I think we've talked about Civ before on here,
Plenty of time.
Because you two, Bill and Genevieve, you guys
Yes.
have played, I know, right?
Our
Civ
14th
5.
episode was like the Civ special.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it before. So Civ 6 just came out with a new DLC, Gathering Storm.
So I'm sorry, just to review for my dad, it is a turn-based
Strategy game.
strategy game where you develop a civilization from like the Stone Ages to semi-future, and you try not to get your civilization destroyed.
Yeah.
Right.
And a little bit of elements of like risk where you
And
might be
there's-
fighting other people or just trying to settle.
All right, Lisa.
And there's multiple ways to win.
Something like that. Yeah. So there's a lot that's going on, but the main aspects I at least just wanted to touch on with this new update was they added some new resource things that they've changed. They've added some new leaders in there as well. And
Swolgamesh still in there?
Swolgamesh is still there. I don't think they got rid of anyone. I think they've only added some new leaders with some new civilizations, which has been interesting. They added a weather/climate feature, which has been very interesting. And they really did a good job with this. I really want to hit on that. And then they've also added a World Congress. So
That's
yeah,
okay.
so I'll start with a bit the resources. So they still had resources that you can get in the game. The tiles have to be in your cities and you can mine them or gather them somehow, but they've added different ones for energy now. So now there's still oil, there's still coal, there's iron, uranium, but they've kind of changed it a little bit. So instead of just having it and then you would just be able to get the resources from whatever those would give you, you can now build like power plants. So they have like coal plants or oil factories or plants, and they allow you to build and generate energy for your civilizations. And then that can help boost different things in your civilization. Like it can help boost the culture from some buildings, or it can boost the science. And it will tell you, it'll be like, oh, if you had 2 energy, you'd be able to boost this by however much. So they've kind of added that, which I think was an interesting feature. Because I didn't have that before, to my knowledge, the power or anything like that. So that was interesting. But
Yeah, the resource is really only there to like barter with or like maintain units.
yeah,
or
like you would just
buildings.
like need to have iron
It
or
needs
something.
to be somewhere like in your grid
Yeah.
with like a thing on
Yeah.
top of it.
But now every turn it will generate a certain amount, and you can trade partial amounts of it. So for example, I remember I had horses, and you can have up to 50 stockpiled units of horses. So you could trade however many of the 50 you wanted to, and sometimes I would trade 20 to someone because I knew in 10 turns I would have already generated those 20 horses back. So it's a lot easier with bartering, and then also, as I said, using them with power plants and things like that to be able to generate power and energy and be able to boost different things in your cities, which is interesting. So I like that. New leaders. They just added more leaders. They didn't really change anything else about them. They've added like the Maori are in there and the Incans are in there. Eleanor of Aquitaine, who is both a leader in France and England, so you can play her as either one.
What?
Which is kind of interesting. So she'll have different skills or kind of unique traits about her playing as France or playing as England. So it's kind of cool. So they have her, and they have a few other different people. Canada is now a leader. They're not just a city-state anymore.
Wait, were they really a city-state before?
Yeah, like Canada used to only be, I think, a city-state, but now
Yeah,
you
it was
can-
like
Who was the leader?
Montreal, I think.
I think it was Montreal. Yeah, but now you can play them as the civilization, and it's oh god, I don't even remember.
Is it
what
just
his
like
name
a
is.
moose?
Yeah, no,
The moose is
kind
the
of.
leader.
It's like some old white guy. I forget what it is. It's like.
Well, obviously.
A moose with
It's
a Canadian.
Canada.
It's some Canadian
A
guy
moose with a
a
Canadian goose on its back.
Yes.
in a
Wait,
mountain's
can't wait for-
costume riding a horse.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is it? Oh, what's his name?
It's like
Something Dudley.
It's like a Williford Latour something with
Some
an L, some
douchebag.
French L last name.
Some cis white male.
And they're kind of cool. They're kind of okay with tundra, which is interesting. They can build farms on tundra, which is nice.
That is what the Canadians like to do.
Absolutely. So they've added some new leaders, which is interesting. It makes it a little bit more exciting and refreshing. The other big thing that I really liked. Okay, so they have the World Congress now. And I know before, and I haven't played Civ very much, so I'll preface it, and I should have prefaced it in the beginning of this. I haven't played a whole lot of Civ, but I've played about 5 or so games thus far.
That's more than just a toe in the water.
A few of them being in this new Gathering Storm DLC expansion that they've done.
Wilfred Laurier.
Wilfred, yeah.
Not even Wilfred. Wilfrid
He's Canadian, okay?
Laurier.
Leave him alone.
Difficult as hell.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think before in the game, there was some way to kind of start a UN at some point.
Yeah, there was. I forget exactly what they called it, but basically it was the way to win if you were good at influencing the city-states, which you could spec into, and or if you like started off militarily and wiped out a bunch of competing civilizations that were so huge.
Yeah.
You would just garner delegates through one or two or both of those ways.
But it was something that was immediately in the game, and it was kind of something that was...
It was like after you
everyone.
meet everyone.
I think like some percentage of the civs on the map had to reach the industrial era, I think.
It was
and then it would like unlock, and then people would start participating.
Yeah, I remember at least from the games that I played before this new expansion came out, I had never really encountered anything with the UN. I know occasionally there would be emergencies that would be announced, but that didn't really happen.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of Civ 5. I haven't played Civ 6. So
okay.
I might be.
I knew that at least in maybe 5, I know there was some sort of a UN aspect.
Yeah, that's what I just described.
Where eventually you could start voting on things or doing something. But in Civ 6 now they have an automatic. It's called the World Congress, and I haven't really figured out how often they have summits or meetings. But it'll show you at the top of it. There's a little icon now, and it'll show you how many turns until the next meeting is when they have different votes on things. And there's really interesting things that they vote on, I think, that really can help or hinder different players in the game. So every so often, every few turns, it seems to be about once, maybe twice every era, they'll have different things that they want to vote on. So you can use, throughout the game, they've now established another, quote, like resource that you can get called diplomatic points. And they're diplomatic,
Points.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to call them. They're way that you can influence your way in the diplomatic Congress to be able to vote on things. So you accumulate a certain number of points depending on the kind of government you have and how many suzerain of different city-states you have. So, you know, how much influence you have overall. And you can use those points, and at every summit you can use them to vote a certain number of times one way or the other on different issues. So some of the things that I've seen come up at the World Congresses have been like, you want to boost a certain number, like a certain type of building. So say you're really into science, you can, like one of the options that it'll let you choose yes or no on is, do you want to, you know, have extra bonuses to say like science buildings and science districts? And you can pick from any of the districts of things that you're allowed to build in your cities. And you can choose to vote. So if you're really into science, you can vote really high on science and hopefully get a boost for that next era. Or if you notice that someone else is winning in something, you can vote against it to try and hinder them in some way. And some of the other things,
like a standing military tax
kind of thing. So yeah, so they have one thing where you can either vote yes or no on either having military units cost 50% less for that era or cost 100% more. So if you're trying to levy a military, you want your things to cost less, but if someone's going crazy, you don't want them to be able to buy things as easily. And you can choose to either have it cost less or more in faith, gold, or production. So you can kind of pick like that. So it's very strategic how you want to play it if you want to either benefit yourself or hinder someone else. And then they've also added, aside from just being able to vote on things like that, you can also vote on a new type of victory that you can get is the diplomatic victory. And I haven't quite figured out how you get all these points, but at some point during the game, you're able to vote on who can get these diplomatic points. And once you hit 10 of them, you've gotten the diplomatic victory. So all of the players, all the leaders will vote, And so you want to give like 2 diplomatic points to any of the leaders. And obviously, if you want to win, you would put a bunch of votes in for yourself. So that's another thing they've done is you can get a diplomatic victory, and essentially people have to like you enough to be able to vote and give you enough points over time. Another thing that they've added with this World Congress is now that you can do these like world games. So there'll be, I don't think there's like an Olympic one, but there'll be like over a course of 30 turns, whoever generates the most great people points for certain things will get whatever bonuses. And there's like a first, second, or third place. That's kind of cool. And like one of them was like the Nobel Peace Prize. So whoever had enough of these like great writer or great scientist or great artist, whatever points at the end would earn whatever prizes. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. A lot of that sounds like it was certainly brought over from 5 and possibly even games before that.
That does sound very
and their
familiar.
respective DLCs. I'm sure it's much more refined in 6 than
Yeah.
it was in 5, but there's a lot of overlap there. But I've only played 5, so what the fuck do I know?
I mean, nothing like this from what I had experienced was in 6 at all. And so it just has made the game a lot more globally based and like it is today. Like everyone's connected now, so now they have, a lot more global World Congress kind of things going on. Lots of like competitions between the different civilizations as opposed to just playing individually and not really having to concern yourself directly with any of the other nations. So that's been interesting too. And you can also, like they've had before, you can choose to have an emergency against someone. If someone's conquering a lot of different people, you can choose to kind of make war against them or things like that. But they kind of have changed how they do it a bit, and they'll have like different awards. Like now you can send aid packages to someone, so someone can request aid, and the person who sends the most aid during whatever time the emergency has been stated, they get whatever X awards. So that's been kind of interesting. So the World Congress, I haven't played to the end to actually see what it progresses all the way to, because I either won before that or lost. So, but it's interesting. I think it's a nice twist, and it kind of adds more to the game because now you're developing these points, and you can trade diplomatic influence points as well.
What?
It's something that you can barter with people, so you can kind of trade like, hey, I really want this thing, here's some gold, and also here's some diplomatic points as well.
Diplomatic immunity.
Knew it.
I'm invincible.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I like that a lot. But the big thing that they changed is the climate. There is now climate that affects your civilizations.
Global
weather.
warming.
Yeah, so not even just... So they have a global warming aspect of it, but they also have natural disasters. So,
Ooh,
yeah,
sorry,
so
keep
they'll
going.
have...
So there's a lot of Chris's in the game.
Got him.
Yeah,
I was a tropical storm last year.
You were
There was a
really
hurricane,
wet.
tropical storm, Chris.
And windy.
Wet and windy.
No,
Okay.
but they have it in the game now. So they have kind of changed the map a little bit, where when there's rivers and mountains and things like that, they have names on the map of what they're called. So you can see what they're called, and they've also added volcanoes.
Yes.
So now
That's
you can.
pretty cool.
And what's really interesting is the natural disasters aren't just like, oh, this thing blew up and now everything is terrible. So, for instance, one of my civilizations, when I was playing, I was near a volcano. And one of the bonuses of the volcano is that all the tiles around it are very fertile,
Yes.
which makes sense.
In life.
But on the downside, the volcano can sometimes erupt to varying degrees. So sometimes nothing will really happen and will just make the soil more fertile, or sometimes it's a massive explosion and for several turns, all those tiles around there are damaged. Interesting. Rivers can flood and can add fertility to the tiles around them and also damage buildings and other tiles that are within range. There can be tornadoes, which I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting, but they've been in areas near me. They don't sound fun. I don't think anything good comes from the tornadoes. There can be other types of flooding. There can be blizzards. There can be storms.
Tsunami?
Probably tsunami, although I haven't experienced it yet. I'm sure that
Or even earthquake.
or an earthquake even. I don't know if they've added earthquake or tsunami because I haven't come across them yet, but I'm sure it's possible.
Earthquake should just like generally fuck everything up, right?
Or at least on different
Yeah.
continents. Like if you're on one continent or something, then everyone kind of. But I haven't seen that yet. But they did add that, which is a
Continental
lot
drift?
more realistic, I think. And then the other thing is that since they've added the power in, they also have introduced global warming. So there's a little screen that you can now pop up that will show you how the climate has changed, the different percents of natural disasters, and it will show you also CO2 emissions. And it will show you how many emissions there have been over the course of the game and also what percent you have contributed to them. So the last game I was playing, I had several factories because I had lots of resources and I was very good. And yeah, I contributed over 50% of the CO2 emissions of the entire world.
All right, China. I knew you were commie.
So they did add that in too. And I haven't played far enough into a game yet where I really see the effects of it. I think at the most I've seen the global temperature go up 0.3%, which like
in climate terms,
is real climate terms is kind of big, but it hasn't affected anything yet. And from what I've read and I've seen so far, the effects of the climate can cause the ocean levels to rise. So if you are on a coast, you are fucked.
Yeah.
That's actually an element that was present, and I think in Civilization 2.
Really?
If you like nuked the world too much, like they'd be like, oh shit, the polar ice caps melted, and then the water levels would change, and then nothing else bad happened. But you know. Yeah.
So I think what happens, like if the climate gets too hot, I think some of the tundra will start to disappear, but then consequently, I think that the levels of the oceans will rise, and then you could start. I don't know if it makes you lose tiles, or eventually if it gets so bad you might actually lose land tiles, or if it just destroys them and floods them in some other way. Not really sure yet.
I'm telling you, everybody's complaining about this global warming, but Pennsylvania will have beachfront property, and
that's what I'm saying.
Sounds
and
good
when
to
California eventually falls into the ocean, oceanfront property will be twice as much.
Or will East Pennsylvania become New Jersey?
Ooh, no.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. The Delaware
need a
will
second
wash
New
them all
Jersey.
clean as they try to swim back over. We'll blow the bridges.
Yeah, but at least from what I've played so far, those are all the major changes that they've had. And I think my favorite one, is the World Congress. Because I haven't really I haven't seen too much with the weather. Occasionally I've had a river flood. I had a volcano explode near my city. But aside from that, it hasn't really done too much to me yet.
Did it actually damage your city, or was it more
Yeah,
like...
it did. I put a bunch of farms right next to it, and all my farms got hurt. It was kind of sad. I had really good tiles, too, which was really sad. But I think the World Congress has been really good. You can vote on different things. Like, I voted to make myself really good. I voted...
What? Wait, what?
I vote to be called a good boy henceforth.
I have done a good job.
I shall be addressed as Sir Good Boy or Mr. Good Boy at all
I
times.
demand mommy give me 30 good boy points. I'm accumulating
We have
them
all
to...
voted on this,
And display
Mummy.
them prominently on the refrigerator.
I need them to purchase more honey musty chicken tendies.
Ah, yes, the superior chicken tendy, as we know.
Honey musty.
What the fuck is this child that we've created? It's like telling its mom what to do in
Put it
a
back.
sophisticated...
Mommy, I got a shower today for the first time in 4 days, but it wasn't a week. I demand my good boy points.
Oh, no. This is a slight.
You can't argue. He's so polite.
It's really all bananas.
He just
gotta
sounds
say.
so nice.
Yeah. No, but you can really get some really nice bonus out of the World Congress. Like, I once voted myself when I was playing as a culture civ. I was playing Eleanor of Aquitaine as France. So I was super culture-y. And then I had so many influence points that I voted to have myself culture bombed for an entire era.
What?
Which was awesome. Like culture bombings, like anything I did that had to do with culture was just culture bombed and was super awesome and great.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know. I think it influences the game a lot more, and I think it adds a lot more global effects that can really influence the game, not just like, oh, you choose to denounce this person, or like you choose to make this country really awful and no one trades with them. Like there's actually
that's
good
what's
stuff.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty nice because it's like,
Real.
yeah, it used to be like, I denounce this, and I go, who cares?
Yeah, like nothing
My
happens
army
from
is
that. No
huge.
one cares.
You want some of this?
Yeah.
And they never did. They
Yeah,
just
but now you
didn't.
can, like, if you started doing that in a game, I could just use all my influence points to vote so that something terrible happens to your army, if that was one of the voting points.
Oh, that's great.
What pissed me off about Civ 5 was that my style was to, and I didn't play it a ton, but it was to, like, you know, just focus on me, man. Like, I'm not going to piss anybody off. I'm just going to, you know, make my resources work for me, set up trade where I need to, and just, like, you know, chug
Have a
along.
good life.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
playing
right.
Civ.
Well, so obviously I'm always parked next to a neighbor who gets super pissed because I put a city 500 miles away from theirs,
Yep.
Yeah.
and they wanted that territory. And then they get butthurt about that for 1,000 years. And throughout that time, declare war on me over and over and over again, as if I'm just going to up and leave the city without them so much as asking. And of course, because they're focused on, we're going to get this asshole, we're going to get him, they build up an army. And then I don't, because I'm not expecting it. But I have a pretty good record of repelling attacks and keeping my cities. And of course, to do that, I start turning on military units to perform that defense. And now I have all these units garrisoned and this massive standing army over 1,000 years of defensive warfare. And suddenly people hate me because I have a lot of military units and they think I'm aggressive.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't leave my own borders, you pricks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then finally, at least the first few times anyway, I would get fed up and just like, okay, you want
to fight?
You want to go to war? I'll take you to war. Say hello to my little friend. Nuke, 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 nuke. And I would just go military victory when I wasn't planning on it. Oh yeah, I have an armada of like aircraft carriers and submarines and destroyers.
Yeah, that just
And
happened
like,
to me.
a bunch of modern like mechanized infantry and fucking stealth bombers, and I'll just like
super realistic
and I'll
is
put
what
them
you're saying.
all down on like 3 of another Civ cities at the same time, and they won't be able to do shit.
Yeah, that just happened to me. I was playing as a Civ, and Cleopatra decided that she didn't like me, so she sent all of her people over. And as I was just like gently repelling them, I took one of her cities because I was like, "Fuck you." And then someone else who was beneath me decided to declare joint war against me, and I'm like, excuse me, I was defending myself." And then Phoenicia, who was to my other beneath me, decided to send her entire armada up to one of my cities. And then I just ended up destroying everyone. I was like, I didn't even want this.
Yeah.
I didn't want this at all. And then everyone hated me. I was like, I don't know what you want from me. I was defending myself. I didn't attack anyone. I was defending. I don't know.
It seems like they still don't appreciate you if you're attacked and then you counter take their city.
Yeah. Whoa,
they're-
aggressive.
Yeah, they're not cool with
much.
retribution. You know what I mean? And then you can like give the city back, but then that person whose city you took hates you for eternity, and you're still a little bit of a warmonger. But okay, the thing you told me about the city too close to somebody else, I was playing with real people online one time, friends of my friend,
Which game?
Civ 5, and I parked a city like I sort of went away from it was my second city. I parked it sort of over here to get a lot of space in between the two so I could put a third one right in the middle. And this girl's like, "What is your city doing there?" I'm like, "It's a certain city." She's like, "It's too close to mine. Move it." I'm like, "How do you move a city?" She's like, "I don't care. Move it." Like, I don't know. I think she was like flexing on me in a way that like people who have no people skills do, like totally unreasonable. There wasn't even a demand for me to meet. Just move it. I'm like, I don't think in the game you can even delete your own city. So
No.
I don't know what you want from me.
I actually have a question for you, Bill.
But wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Then we started getting connection issues and she dropped off. And then so did the other person that was a friend of my friend. I was like, all right, we're just done. We never played again. It was a mess.
So I have actually questions because I've only ever played solo. Is it really irritating to play with other people? I feel like it would just take so long to go through every turn.
You can always put a timer on
You
it.
can set a turn
Oh, you
timer.
can?
So yeah, and that's really useful if somebody falls asleep while you're playing, because they're too cozy.
Yep.
I mean, and the timer increases the later in game it gets. So like if everybody has really complex civilizations, you get way longer, and sometimes it's too long. But
Is it like 2 minutes a turn? Like,
in the very
think so.
beginning, it's like 2 minutes, and towards the end game, it's like 10 maybe.
because I feel like if you're playing with 5 other people, that's like potentially an hour between.
Well, what you do is you go into this hybrid mode so that everybody takes their turns at the same time until
Oh,
two
okay.
player characters go to war with each other.
Oh, so it'll let you take multiple
Yeah.
turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
as soon
everybody-
as you're
as soon as you fight another player, like a human character, then you go in order,
Okay.
right? Because
Oh, interesting.
because you can't fight at the same time. Yeah,
Well, I
that would
just,
make
like,
sense because you have
Didn't
to.
know how they went about doing multiplayer because I would just felt like it would take forever. Even with timers, I was like, if you're waiting for each individual person to go, I would just get so bored. I would just be like, this isn't fun.
there's also a mode that you can do. Like if we set up like a host, it's called, I think, Pit Boss. You could go in, have your turn, leave, and then you get an alert when it's your turn again. You just hop in and do it, and then hop back out. So there's all sorts of stuff you can do. But yeah, player versus player combat is always where the game will just shit the bed if you don't have a good machine to run it on.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen very often. Except when I play against Sean, friend of the podcast. Motherfucker.
Sean, friend of the podcast.
Yeah, we were,
It's definitely the new name.
I've decided it's a last name now. Like,
you and
all our friends.
You and Sean were playing, and she gets up to go like to the bathroom, and Genevieve turns to me and goes, "Don't start any wars while I'm gone." And as she's walking away, Sean sneak attacked her, aka me. So we spent the next 3 hours
In war.
I won. Whatever.
Yeah, I haven't played PvP yet either.
I kind of want to try it. I feel like it would be really fun.
We
But
could
also
do.
maybe super frustrating.
We could stream it anytime you want.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think we'd have to have a lot of good chitter chatter, but they're practically giving away Civ 6, right? Well, they were a couple days ago. Last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Super
during
cheap?
the lunar
It
sale.
was like 30 pence and a hay
Yep. You send in the hay.
3 blades of grass.
penny.
Mhm.
So,
What a bargain.
all right, give it a rating. How many out of what?
So I would say this is about 5 raspberries out of 6 raspberries.
Oh, that's pretty
I
good.
think it's really good. I think
a 6-point rating. I like it.
Yep.
Now, are these those raspberries that you do on somebody's belly, or are these the fruits?
Or is it
Oh,
the... No, it's Raspberry Pi? Wait, what are the computers? That
Oh, yeah, Raspberry
Oh.
Pi.
That's also a thing.
Also a computing.
Let's name raspberries.
No, it was good. I think all the things they added were realistic things that I felt that the game was missing, but I didn't know they were missing until they added them.
And what was it called again, the expansion?
Gathering Storm.
Gathering Storm.
Bump.
This summer.
All right, Chris. Now it's your turn.
And that's it for Chris's turn.
And we're done here.
You're going to tell us about the forest, and this is where you
The
can't
forest.
you can't
It's the
see
forest.
it because for all the trees, right?
The forest?
Yeah,
What?
you're blinded by the trees.
No.
That is an ancient idiom. Ancient. Do
Ancient.
you guys know that one? Can't see the forest for all the trees.
Oh, yeah.
You're missing the big picture.
Oh, yeah.
No one says that, Bill.
I
Yeah.
say it.
Exactly.
So, Chris, what is this? What's this game about? What's going on?
So it's a survival horror game, and it was on sale for really cheap during the Lunar New Year sale. So I was like, ooh, I must buy this because it's cheap. But I didn't really know much about the game, so I was just like, oh, it's cheap survival horror. I've never played survival horror. I want to try it, so this one looks good. I'm going to go with it. So I did. I pretty much did no research ahead of time. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I am so glad I did it this way.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool in that little taste we got in the lunar.
Yeah. I am so glad that I did it this way because if I could I really wish I can go back and relive the first time I played through like the first like half hour, 45 minutes of that game.
Why?
Right.
So basically, it's a survival horror game, and you crash an airplane. Your airplane crashes into a forest.
You don't purposely
Surprise,
crash your
surprise.
airplane into it.
Yeah, you're a passenger, and you're the what you think is the only survivor of this crash,
Okay.
and you have to survive in the woods. The game spoon feeds nothing. You actually really have to figure all the shit out on your own.
Wait, this game looks so good.
It's incredibly good. The graphically, it's amazing. I'm running it on medium,
looks
and
like
it is
Skyrim.
spectacular.
Wait, how
bit.
much was this?
I got it for like really cheap.
How much is it now?
Like, how much is
I think I
good?
got it for like not even $6.
Full price is
Really?
20.
Okay.
But I would absolutely
I
pay
feel like
20.
I paid 20 for it.
Yes, you
Think
should.
you'll get 20 hours out of
Oh,
it?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what do you do?
It's
What's the horror and what's the survival?
All right. So the horror is I'll just set it up for you how it was set up for me. So when you come out of the airplane and you're like, okay, it's a survival game, let me gather up all the shit. So you grab like snacks, food, water, and other various things that are in like all of the luggage that is everywhere. So then you're like, all right, I have to go find the other passengers, see if there's any survivors. So you start walking around. And then all of a sudden, and it's just woods, and it's gorgeous. It's just like, oh, this is not so bad. And then you find like a little like establishment, and you're like, oh, cool. You know, this must be where the other survivors are. And then all of a sudden, you see these really, really strange looking people. Very, very tribal like.
Okay, just because they look different from us, Chris, doesn't mean
Racist.
God damn it. Very primate like in their movements. Am I still a racist?
Are you calling them monkeys?
Keep going.
They look
through
like
it.
thumbs.
But anyway, so and so like you're walking around in this thing and they're just kind of staring at you.
Like, oh,
And then
hey.
they kind of run around a little bit. They do a little screaming, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And then like I'm starting to like look around me, and
There's
there's
just actual people. You don't know what they are.
I have no idea what's going on. And so then I'm like looking around, and then I'm like, "There's body parts hanging from on these racks."
Huh.
This is probably what animals feel like when humans find them. It's just like,
Right.
Oh my
Whoa,
God.
No, seriously though. And then I'm like looking around, and then there's somebody with a fucking tennis racket rammed through their mouth with a tennis ball attached to it, and he's bent over in half on the ground there. And I'm like, oh,
That seems normal.
this is not okay. And then all of a sudden, I am attacked by these fucking cannibals, and that's the horror.
Cannibals.
And the AI for these things is fucking brilliant. The way these things attack you is incredible. It's you don't see them often. But when you do, like say you start building up a camp, right?
Right.
So they'll just be like scouting around. Like sometimes when you're exploring, you'll like see them out in the distance, but like you're like, no, I'm gonna stay away from them because you're not
Right.
like you can't attack them yet. But you can see them doing like their normal everyday like cannibal things.
Please take me into the life of a.
Oh, they just run around
Cannibal.
like idiots so far. But so then you start building up your camp and everything, and then they find your camp. And they're very curious. They're very, very curious. So they'll come up to your camp and they'll just like watch you for a while. They won't attack you.
That's so creepy.
But they'll run around your camp. They'll run around up to the edge of your camp and they'll just look at you and then they'll run away. Gone.
That is creepy.
Do you
And then-
move your camp then? Because I
Well,
feel like
I mean, you could, or you can build up defenses.
that's okay. Yeah.
So then all of a sudden they start to get more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
They'll run right up to you, right into your face, and then stop. And then they'll just stare at you, and then they'll run away again.
Oh no.
They come from
And then after a little bit, then they'll start attacking you.
That is so creepy.
Yeah, and then they'll come up to you and they'll like hit you and they'll run away. And then if there's multiples, they actually cooperate with each other. Like one guy will be, so you'll have one guy to your left and one guy to your right. The one guy will come running at you and then you'll start running to the other guy and he's like, and then they kind of like start to push you into each other and then they kind of like just sandwich you and just beat the shit out of you that way.
Clever girl.
So
Yeah, like the you have to be so, and you can like go like on these like little back and forth pissing contests with them all night, and like that's how you'll like watch your camp because you have to like defend your camp and shit
So
too.
it's still just you.
Just you. Yeah.
Crazy.
So then you got to build weapons. You can take their weapons.
They have weapons?
Yeah, they have like these crazy clubs that they make with human skulls and hands.
Maybe they're just misunderstood.
Yeah, right. But and there's a big crafting system. There's a lot of things that you can build.
Is it a
to keep
good
yourself
crafting
alive.
system?
Yeah, it's actually not too bad.
Because every
It's
time
not
you
bad
see
at all.
crafting listed as a popular user-defined tag for this product, and their crafting system is poop poop.
I thought it was pretty. I thought it was pretty simple to make everything. I thought it made sense. It's all instant, so you don't have to like wait for it to be built or anything. As you can see, you're carrying around logs in this picture. That's what takes the time is gathering everything that you need. Because obviously, you can only carry in the game you can carry 2 logs at a time.
Okay. So only 500 or 600 pounds.
Right. But eventually, you can build like a zip line.
Oh,
And then you can like start like your own like little like logging camp and shit.
oh, that's so
Yeah.
Like the further you get into it, but like yeah, like you have to like go and like obviously the further you go, like you have to start going further from your camp because you start running out of resources and stuff. So eventually you'll have to make another camp the further you get. But like the bigger your camp gets, the more they'll start like investigating you. The harder they'll start attacking you. Ooh. Like I built a cabin, then all of a sudden they started taking tennis balls, lighting them on fire, and throwing them at my building to try to burn it
Well,
down.
at least it wasn't their burnt feces.
Right. But it's a lot of fun. It's
Have you brutally murdered any of them yet?
it took me several hours before I was even brave enough to attack them
Really?
because they're pretty strong. But then
It's
eventually,
that
and the
human-
combat was a little tough to get used to at first, but once I did, it wasn't the worst. Then eventually I started to get bows and arrows and started getting kind of clever and pissing them off from a distance and stuff.
Is there an end game state? Is there like a story you're progressing through?
No, it's just like how many days can you survive?
Oh, okay. Have you-
Eventually,
Actually
you
looks-
become one
But-
of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, there might be because you're supposed to go look for your son too. So I mean, that could be it, but I haven't gotten that
He's
far.
dead.
He's the king of the zomboids.
Probably.
Do you get to create your character, or are you like always the same?
You're always the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
This looks really good.
Are
It's
you
very,
the
very
woman in the
good.
business skirt in the photo that
Yep.
comes with the?
No, that's a dead stewardess that you pull your hatchet out of her chest.
Ah.
So and she took a hatchet to the chest in the plane crash.
What?
sense.
How?
I used to be a stewardess, but then I
All
took
right,
a hatchet
cannibals
to the
I can get
chest.
behind, but who is bringing a hatchet on a plane, and how?
Emergency hatchet.
How
I mean,
did they get?
it was
I'm
the
I mean,
mutant.
curious.
for
The
all I
mutant killed
know,
her.
she could have been killed by one of these cannibals.
I guess that's true.
and left
After
there
the
for me
crash.
to find. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
But some of them have like they'll have spotlights being held up on their backs by like bones, and they use that to like. So it's like sometimes you'll see their light running through the night in the dark.
Oh
while,
That's so creepy.
and then like it's just wild. It's some of the shit is just so and then like there's no music, so it's like all you hear is actual forest sounds. So it's very realistic in that respect. Like I really feel like I was watching an episode of like Survivor Man or something at certain points. Well, because like that's probably exactly what it feels like. What my experience of playing this
It's
game.
feeling more and more like you're some other humanoid creature and stumbled upon a band of rowdy, weird teenagers, and they're just like looking at you and
Lord of the
being like
Flies.
sticking with you and just like creeping on you. Eventually, like fuck this guy, and then they're gonna try and kill you. Like it seems like what humans would actually do to something.
Now, did you actually get killed at all?
Oh, okay. So this is what's cool too. So sometimes they won't kill you,
Oh,
but what they will do is
Eat you.
they will kidnap your ass.
good.
Oh,
And they will take you down into a cave where you will be held upside down and you have to escape out of that shit. Caves are dark.
Yeah.
I mean,
And most of the time, all you're going to have is a Bic lighter.
I've seen Star Wars a few times, so I'm pretty good at getting out of
Yeah.
caves.
That is how that works.
They're not
exactly
always
how
in
that
the
works.
cave with you, but sometimes there are parts where you have to go start exploring deep into the caves, and I'm too terrified to do that just yet.
It sounds horrifying.
Do you play it with the lights off? Like,
I did try playing it with the lights off at night.
That's scary.
Did you
Don't
poop
do
your
that.
pantaloons?
A little bit, yeah. Well, because a lot of times you don't hear them coming too, and then sometimes you don't know how many there are. You don't know how many there are. Oh, also, so the game, it's in a forest, but it takes place on like the coast. So there's also the
It's a
ocean.
forest coast.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So,
Like Oregon.
so you can get turtles, and you can use the turtle shells to gather
To become
water.
a turtle person?
No. Oh, right. That would have been great, though. Turtleplasty.
As a shield?
Like, fuck
Okay.
these cannibals. I'm becoming a turtle.
What the fuck is turtleplasty? What the fuck are you guys
I guess you
talking
weren't in the
about?
room for
You
that.
weren't in the
weren't
room
here
for
for
this.
that.
It's fine.
Okay. Is that like
But-
rhinoplasty?
Yes.
But becoming a turtle.
and dolphinplasty.
It's a South Park joke.
Oh.
But anyway, so like there's a boat out, like you're just like floating around out in the water there. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go swim to this boat. Bad idea.
Did a shark bite you?
Yeah.
Bit you right on your ding.
Who would the thought of a possibly dying from a shark in this game didn't cross my mind at all.
Sleep with sharks in the water.
And of course, me being me, and you guys have seen how I game. Of course, I would die via shark in a game about a forest.
Yep. I mean,
Like that is exactly the thing that would happen to me. So so that was cool. But then there's also like there's dead sharks on this thing too, and you can cut the sharks' heads off and take them as like a trophy. And you can also use that as a bashing thing to bash these cannibals away with.
You use it as a
too.
ramming tool.
Yeah.
Oh my
What?
Cool.
Yeah. Like
Get away
you
from me,
can-
shark face.
Yeah, you can literally use almost anything you want to do whatever.
I just imagine you
want.
picking up a shark body by the tail,
This
and
is
like
amazing.
swinging it around.
Yeah.
How would
You can hit them with fish.
How intuitive? Oh goodness, excuse me. How intuitive is the crafting system? And additionally, do you have to eat and shit?
You do, yes, you do have to pay attention to your hunger. You get a lot of soda in the beginning of the game.
What?
I mean, they have a lot of
Do you get gamer fuel?
Could you get a lot of the plain soda? Yeah.
Yeah, peanuts.
But the
plain
thing
soda.
is,
Pretzels.
you can't keep drinking that because it will affect your stats. You will become a fat ass.
That's
Really?
awesome.
Yes.
Oh my God.
No way.
You have to watch your weight. You have to watch your nutrition.
No way.
You have to cook.
How fast do you become fat? Like how quick is the?
I mean, I only survived like 8 days so far.
So you're already like 500 pounds.
Right. Well, I was over 200 because all you can, like, I haven't found. Oh wait, because you have to take the turtle shell to gather water, but it doesn't rain all the time either. So
Just drink the ocean water.
yeah, you're brilliant. But no, you could. Though there is,
It's
there
already
is
flavored with
rivers.
salt.
I just happen to not be near a river. I just happen to be near the ocean.
That was great. Devastated.
Devastated. I wasn't listening.
Do you know
So
cats?
casually.
Do you know cats' kidneys are so powerful they can hydrate off of drinking ocean water?
But they're afraid of me standing up.
I bet you didn't know that. But that's also, the cats often don't drink enough water. That's why they die of kidney disease. Now, is this a fact? I think so. Go ahead and check it. Whatever. So,
Do you ever see Shia LaBeouf?
actual cannibal
Shia LaBeouf? Yeah, I'm pretty
Is
sure.
that
he's in
maybe
there.
he's
Wait.
like the boss fight? At the end.
Have you died yet?
Yes, I have done.
What does that look like? Do they go? Nom, nom, nom.
Are you
No, no, no,
alive
no.
through all of the eating stuff, or?
Yeah, they just show like a little cutscene of them like eating your stomach.
Oh, you don't hear like.
Nah. But the cutscene of them dragging you to the cave is pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
Pull out little straws, bamboo straws. And, yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! It's like a super cute first date between these mutants, and they like get your intestine in their mouths, and then they slurp it up and they kiss. Oh.
It's gonna be the next coming next best rom com since Geely.
I cannibal.
Robot cannibals?
Yes.
Holy fuck! It's an island of Franks.
Oh my
Eating
god.
Franks.
So how intuitive is the crafting system? I meant to ask that. I don't know if I asked it.
You keep asking that.
Oh, really? Like when you pick up a rock and a stick, do you push like action and your character's like, let me make this into an
No,
axe?
you hit the letter I,
Okay.
and it gives you inventory.
Oh,
So it pretty much lays out like a picnic blanket full
Basket.
of all of your stuff.
I thought
And
you
then like you pick an item and you can throw it in the middle and then you just hit combine and it'll make it. But if you have like an item, you can throw it in the middle there, and if you hover over your thing, it'll give you like recipes for everything you can make with that.
Oh, I thought, when you said it didn't really give you a whole lot of guidance in the beginning of this review.
Well, I didn't realize that. I had to go on and like watch like a beginner's video because I was like, because I didn't realize that it gave you the menu because it's not like enough of a contrast from the rest of the screen to notice that something else popped up. So I didn't initially know it because the craft button is down here and they put the menu up here. And no one on the show can see that, but one on the bottom right and then one on the top left is what I was saying. And you can't, and I didn't notice it. And then I'm like, and then once I figured that out, the game got exponentially funner.
All right, so in the pictures here on the game screen in Steam, we see one of those zomboids from the Will Smith movie.
I am Legend.
For I'm Legend?
I am
Yeah.
They
cannibal.
look so, I guess they do look similar to that.
And then they're clearly showing other human beings. Have you not met any yet?
I have not found them yet.
Okay.
Because it looks like you're following someone.
Yeah.
Not you, but like the general.
But yeah,
sense
you
of
see how they're all kind of like just hanging back in the distance there in the
hanging
dark.
out.
That's what they'll do, and they'll just
Over
sit. And
there.
sometimes you can only see like the light of their eyes,
Ugh.
and they're just
Over there.
chilling there watching you.
Is that guy wearing a
creepy.
cool stick armor thing?
Well, yeah, that's the same guy that I was telling you about that has like the lamp.
Oh!
Yeah, they're fucking freaky, dude.
Ugh. I like this.
Yeah, man. But like I would say the environment is absolutely gorgeous. And again, I'm running it on medium settings, and it still looks fucking amazing. For a game that came out in 2018. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I have a
It was
question.
last year.
When you die, do you have to start over?
Well, you create saves. When you build a shelter, that creates a safe position for you.
Okay.
Other types of shelters, you'll find like another person's like a tent, or you can save on that boat. Like you can only save in those areas.
Oh, okay, so you can like go and like quick save
Right,
somewhere. It's not
yeah.
just like up until and then you die. You have to start.
Then you have to
over.
start over again. No,
Oh, okay.
no. I mean, you could, but as long as you have your save point.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I hope when you beat the game, there unlocks a version where you can play as these spooky monsters, and it's a dating sim, like an anime dating sim
Like,
for
let's
these
go watch the humans. Okay.
cannibalistic mutants. You know what I like? Okay, here's the description of this game. As the lone survivor of a passenger jet crash, you find yourself in a mysterious forest battling to stay alive against a society of cannibalistic mutants. Build, explore, survive in this terrifying first-person survival horror simulator. Now, I like that they use the phrase
I was
society
about
of
to say.
cannibals.
Yeah.
Society's a little generous, I think.
Like, I guess they're organized to some degree.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Well, they
do they get
have
together?
They have villages. They have a
What?
lot of
They live together in
Yeah.
synchrony.
And then they have like one main village, and then there's like a bunch of like little small satellite ones scattered about. And
I don't get
shit.
why this is so surprising. This is like every cannibal culture that has ever existed on Earth has had some type of
These are mutants.
Okay, what's that mean?
They look
They still
like
have feelings, Bill.
spooky splorch faces.
That doesn't preclude that you are racist against mutants.
And cannibals.
Clearly.
What?
Cannibals.
Wait, but having the cannibalistic societies, don't they typically eat people who like drop dead? They don't hunt each other.
They
do
might.
I don't think you should assume they're
Yeah.
cannibalistic, Raise Bill. I think that's a way that you can get eaten.
What?
You're assuming cannibalism.
I thought they just eat them after they're like, oh, grandma dropped dead.
Yes, that's true.
Sometimes it's ritualistic.
You know,
Sometimes it's
how everything is like a gradient. Everything ever, especially where people
No,
are concerned.
everything's black or white or yellow.
I thought
There
we
is
discovered.
nothing in between.
I thought we discovered all cannibal societies, and none of them killed people just to eat them.
Okay, I doubt it.
I mean,
Although chimps do it. Chimps are fucked. They eat each other all the time. You ever want to see what like a crazy, horrible human society could look like if we all just went fucking bananas?
if you went ape shit.
Yeah, if we're like, hey,
Chimps are like super mean sometimes. They're super territorial and they will kill each other.
all the
and eat each
time,
other.
and they eat each other. I don't know. But then again, there were those soldiers in Africa who were talking about, like General Butt Naked, who was talking about eating his enemies. So, well, I guess
Maybe
that
they're
should
protein
be.
deficient. I don't know.
Anyway, I'm just impressed that they
They're
have
just
laws
using
and a
every part
system
of
of
the animal.
government that's effective, and they all have the social contract that
Waste
they
not,
agree
want
to.
not.
Um,
Got a dead body. Why not use it?
do you find that these kind of survival games are scarier in first person? Because I certainly do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's pretty scary in first person.
'Cause I
I don't
kn-
think it would be as scary if I was in third person.
Because I know that I'm playing a game, but I guess I get immersed enough that it's rushing at my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with this game too, like I think, and I believe we touched on this before, possibly on a very earlier episode, but like, there's no like personality to this character, so it's like it's you.
Yeah, you can just project
You
yours
have no
right onto it.
personality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
Very realistic.
Well, that's commonplace.
Yeah.
Skyrim,
Yeah.
Fallout.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even Gordon Freeman in Half-Life, even though it was such a linear game, he never said anything. So
Can you toggle between first and third person?
No,
Okay.
Oh,
See,
this
I like
guy's
the
got
first
horrible
person for
toe
these kind of
thumbs.
things.
I cannot. Immersion broken.
Yeah, I know they're thumbs.
The thumbs?
All the people. Okay, there
What's
was a
wrong?
couple clips that I saw, and they looked like the thumbs from Spy Kids.
Oh my god.
Now, here's the real question: is there a romantic interest?
I
Stop
haven't
with
found
the
her
dating
yet.
cannibal
It's,
already.
Is there an animal friend?
You get a
A
puppy.
companion?
Wait, you don't get like a wolf
Familiar?
I haven't found them.
fish friend.
I've speared them.
Can you?
That's how you
Wait,
make friends,
what
right?
if you collected water in the turtle shell and then caught a little fishy and kept it?
Then what
I don't
would
think
you
you can
drink?
do that.
You would
Why
drink
not?
the goldfish.
I don't think you can keep the fish alive.
Well, you feed it fish food.
But like,
Yeah.
I don't think I can just grab. You can't just grab them. You have to spear them.
You gently spear.
Do you know what this person's career was before the plane crashed?
Nothing.
Cannibal.
Nothing.
They were a cannibal
But
before they
he's
went to
he's
see
a pretty
other
good
cannibals.
survivalist, apparently.
Yeah. Maybe he's just inspired by God.
But like the menu is like a survival guide book, and you open it, and that's how you build everything and how you choose what you want and everything.
Have you seen a bear yet?
I have not seen a bear yet.
What a goddamn great entry at a $20 price point. When did this come out? Last year?
Yeah,
I
April
wanna
last
play
year.
this.
1 year ago?
I put this for my rating on this easily 9.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
It got 9 out of 10 on Steam. IGN gave it 8.4 out of 10.
This is the kind of game where I go to the developer and I go, guess I'm falling down this rabbit hole.
Hey, Chris, how many hours have you put into the game already?
Probably 8 to 10, I think. And I bought it Friday. When was the Lunar New Year thing?
Last week.
That
It was last week, and then, I think I picked it up for the first time,
You do it. So.
Friday. I think I started, and I was like, "Oh, this is good."
It looks really good. Like, I really want to play this now.
I think we're all going to have to get it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it for everybody. And like the detail too, like when you have to cut down a tree. Like you have to walk around the tree, and like you can it's very realistic, the animation of you chopping the tree, like, and how you break, and you have to like point it in the right direction, so wherever you stop on that side of tree, that's where it's going to fall down to. It's not like some generic animation. Like, it's very good in that kind of respect.
Cool.
Is there any aspect of it that, like, if you make too much sound, the cannibals show
yes,
up?
because they're they can do that. They can hear you if you're sneaking around. They will find you, but you can you build like stealth armor and shit. You can kill iguanas, because there's iguanas too.
There's iguanas and no bears.
I love iguanas.
Yeah, so you
is this
so you can
forest?
take the iguana skin, and you can make stealth armor out of that. That's what that is right in the picture.
Now, can you capture and then tame the iguana?
Negative.
Now, if they attack you, you don't turn into a zomboid?
Negative.
Okay.
They eat you.
They're not
Final
zombies,
question.
they're cannibals.
Final question. Can you dig a pit and put spikes in it and cover it with leaves so they fall into the pit?
Yes. Actually,
Really?
Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up.
bro.
Shut up.
Yo, listen. The traps you make in this game are fucking cool. Like, the happy birthday one is the funnest.
The happy
All
birthday
right,
one?
tell us that, and then
Is it where you strip naked and then...
Yes,
And
I
then
do. I
run
mean, I
around?
do.
In real life, Chris
real
just gets
life.
naked,
I'm like,
and
all
he
right,
just wanted to
happy
share
birthday
that.
time. Clothes are coming
The
off.
happy birthday move is just Chris getting naked and playing the game.
Exactly.
It's super effective.
don't you tuck your wiener and
Yeah.
look in the mirror and go, I'm a pretty lady.
I'd fuck.
What? Would you fuck me?
I'd fuck me so hard.
Okay.
But the happy birthday trap is pretty much a
Silence of the
wall of
Lambs.
spikes that if they trip the thing, it comes up and it impales the shit
Like
out
a
of
big
them.
cake.
Yes.
Got it. Fucking nailed it.
Fucking beautiful.
Okay. Before we kick it to our next break, because I think we're just about getting there, Chris, you got a little bit of hands-on time with Hotline Miami.
Uh-huh.
I thought you played the whole game, but tell us about your initial reaction, since you got a fresh view on this game.
It's fucking fun, man. It is really, really fun. I love the
What is
music. Huh?
Explain game.
Oh, it's a top-down, like, 8-bit shooter, puncher, beat
Violent
shit, violent,
simulator.
violent. It's very violent. It's very gory for an 8-bit.
Yeah, but I mean, they're like blocks of blood. But
so
they add
how real is it?
They add really good, like, sound effects when you break somebody's neck and like whack, whack, whack. So like you'll hit somebody, they'll fall to the ground. You got to finish them. So you go over, you hit spacebar, and you go whack, 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 and then their head breaks open with blood everywhere.
You can
seems
tell when
real.
like they slit their throat too. Like you can slit their throat when they're down. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's gnarly.
You're basically John Wick.
Pretty much. Yeah.
8-bit John Wick.
8-bit John Wick. Yeah. That seems to be a trend. We really like these John Wick simulator games.
Of course.
Of
course.
Yeah.
But the first John Wick, not the second one where he had that goddamn suit.
What?
He had this suit that like he held the cloth up and it just hung loosely and stopped like rifle rounds.
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
That's
No,
he's John
Jacob.
Wick.
No,
It's really
fine.
okay.
I reject it.
He also only has that much cloth to work with, so there's like always a gap. And then he does get shot at one point because this is like commonplace in their little underworld in that movie. And someone moves it aside point blank and shoves a pistol in his gut in that movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's a bit silly and it's you know,
in the
whatever.
first
it's
movie-
fun. Shut up, it's John Wick. It's a good movie.
In the first John
Yeah.
Wick, he just didn't get shot because he was good. In the second one, he gets super suit, and he's like, oh, no big deal. Oh, my tum-tum's a little sore from those bullets. I will. I don't.
Wait, is this actually?
He definitely did get hit in the first one. He was wearing a vest though.
Yeah.
I just know in the second.
nightclub
When they were in the red circle. Yeah.
I know in the second game, I almost said in the second movie, he just goes like, huh, and he hits himself, and all these bullets fall out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
That also happens, yeah.
all right, so Miami hardline Miami's hard,
It's very, very hard.
but the style's fucking cool.
It's a
isn't it?
really cool style, that retro, like neon color.
that almost
flashy
synthwave
lights.
kind of
Yeah.
look. Yeah,
That's kind of along the lines of what the soundtrack is.
the soundtrack is dope.
Is it
real
lots of
good.
Synthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like all
synth-heavy
synth,
music.
and it feels like it has way more diversity than it actually does.
Yeah.
Right? You just listen to it, you're like, I am not tired
Much
of
like
this
this
shit.
podcast.
Which is essential for a game where you're going to die 30 times on some levels, and you're going to hear the beginning of the song over and over again. What did you think of the characters in the storyline so far? Definitely kind of trippy.
It was definitely strange. There's a bunch of people wearing animal masks and stuff.
And then a crazy homeless
Assassins,
guy.
yeah. You were never going to be good enough for him.
But
He told you straight up, he's like, yeah, you're going to go get yourself killed anyway when he's like training you and shit. It's like, oh, thanks for the confidence, asshole.
There's a Hotline Miami, and then there's like a Hotline Miami 2, and then I think there's like a middle one or DLC, but you can get them for
Hotline
like...
Bling.
You can get them for like 30 cents sometimes. So if you haven't picked it up, give it a try and you'll get your
It's a
15
good time.
seconds minimum of. It's awesome. It's such a good time. But all right, we're gonna kick it. Catch you on the flip side for Steam sale. Steam sale. Steam sale. Steam sale. Steam sale. I just mixed up a couple songs there, didn't I?
I think so.
Far
You're trying to
Cry-
do freeze frame, right?
Yeah. And
Freeze
then I went to Michael Jackson.
Rise of industry. What is that?
Okay. Arma 3, 66% off. We've talked about this before. It is the basis upon which the big PUBG is based. I think also DayZ, a bunch of those other like open world survival sims, battle royales or whatever. The Arma engine is what it's built upon. It is basically a warfighter simulator in how the weapons operate and penetrate. And I remember seeing somebody broke down one time. They're like, yeah, if you use this, if you want to know how these bullets behave in real life, play this game. And they're like, I made a little mod to track the bullet paths of all these rounds. And they're like, about 33% of the time, the rounds would penetrate with however much of their original velocity left, and the other 66% of the time, they would deflect with more velocity than when they penetrated. And they show this and like every once in a while, one would break through. And they're like, this is pretty much what you would expect in real life. So they tried real hard.
Wow.
I think in order to play like the multiplayer, you got to be ready to get good. I think people do like Operation Sims in this. It's like super serious, but I mean it's a behemoth. For $13.59, you're getting a hell of a game. But if you want to like really play it, you got to be ready to get good. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, that is on sale again for 50% off. You'll definitely get your $10 worth out of it if you like anything like this kind of combat. We talked a little bit last time. We think it's probably going to be a little tough to jump in since there are such good players who know how all the mechanics work. I said I've seen videos where like somebody shoves something on the ground and then 20 seconds later the whole other team dies. Like, this is super cool. And then you go into the comments and they're naming characters and how you play it. I'm like, what the fuck? And so he's like, oh yeah, this is a mine that deploys through the ground, and he did it, and all the team ran into the room, like in the next floor down, and died, and it was a cool move. And I had no idea what was going on until somebody slowed her down. So there's a pretty vehement community out there that knows how to play, but if the matchmaking is any good, I'm sure you can get right into it. Dark Souls 3, 70% off. This is the deluxe edition
with all the DLCs and extra bells and whistles. Yep.
That's a couple years old game, $25.
If you're into the Souls games and you haven't for some reason played 3 yet, I would 100% say you should get this.
All right, now we're interested in today's deal for the next 45 hours. Rise of Industry.
This looks interesting.
Now with modding. There's an American British flag, a German flag. Is that Spain, France, Brazil, Ireland, Belgium, and China? All right.
China.
I don't know where you're seeing Belgium.
I don't know. That's Russia. Sorry.
Could be Russia.
Belgium is actually just Germany's flag turned like 90 degrees.
I like to
It's the
take flag
turned
and
up.
get turned.
Yep.
Oh, pollution. Sick. All right.
Yeah.
Rise of Industry is a strategic tycoon game that puts you in the shoes of an early 20th century industrialist. Build and manage your growing empire in a living, breathing, and procedurally generated world that is constantly evolving and adapted to your playstyle.
I couldn't tell if that was supposed to be a rap or
Dynafire.
More like
like slam poetry.
Yeah, that's what I was going
It's too
for.
rhythmic for slam poetry. That was a shitty rap, and you should be ashamed.
Damn.
Yeah, no, I'll tell it is. Early
Sometimes
access
Jake
game?
gets really beat.
Listen.
He's getting progressively
When I cut, I
tired of
cut
our
deep.
bullshit.
I cut real deep.
So 923 reviews are very positive. 44 mostly positive. That might be because it went on sale and a bunch of fucking get goods who weren't good tried to play it and they got their asses whooped. But oh, this is pretty neat. The art style is
Cartoony.
pretty cartoony. It looks like these jabronis built a factory and it polluted their whole city, and now everybody's unhappy. They're living in Smogsville.
Okay, China.
This is really interesting to me. If it had been $10, easy purchase. It's 33% off. It's $6. I'm gonna have to read some reviews, but I'm always up for a good tycoon game. What I run into though is they end up being a repeat of the same old mechanics with some sort of flavor that they try to implement but miss the mark. See also Railroad Empire.
More trains! Build more trains!
What do you guys?
And just delete those trains.
What do you guys think of this? Anybody got any thoughts on it?
It could be good
Not my
if they
bag.
make it good, but
It definitely looks like a heavy menu simulator.
yeah,
I don't know.
not quite what I was hoping it would be.
Not really.
Oh, Dark Souls has a whole sale this weekend.
Looking at that, Dark Souls 2 for $10. Where's the first one at?
First one.
Dark Souls weekend
Three,
deal.
three, 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 all different threes.
Thank you, 3. Dark Souls Remastered, $30. Dark Souls 2. Really, you can only get the remastered now for $30. I mean, I've heard nothing but just great things about the remaster of the very first game.
Oh shit! Look at that title for the second one. Dark Souls 2: Scholars of the First Sin. If that's not a hype ass title, I don't know what is. Dark Souls does such a great job of walking that like horrific theme language without being too edgelordy. BioShock: The Collection.
Yes.
75% off, $14.99, 100% worth it.
Yeah, you're an idiot if you don't pick this up.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never played the BioShock games.
All right, let's see what else we got. Borderlands 2 Game of the Year. Why the fuck is that on sale again?
$8.79.
Well, I guess they sold the pre-sequel and something else last week.
I mean, this came out in 2013.
Yeah, for $9. I mean, you'll get your $9 out of it if you like the first Borderlands, but this game's kind of dated. At this point, a lot of it's like, what was it? The big thing when Borderlands came out was the cell shading art style and the over-the-top characters, like the little dwarf midget psychos or whatever. They call them like psycho midgets or something. And the big crazy guys. And then you have like a number of different attributes that can be applied to any weapon that's like randomly generated as you go through the game. So there was 2 billion combinations of weapons you can have. But I mean, this has been done. The second one as of 5 years ago. So I don't know if it's worth the $9.
Old
That's
news.
it for the special offers tab, but I think there are some other things going
There's
on.
got to be more.
A 2K publisher weekend.
Oh,
80% off.
Is that there's the aliens
Those are aliens from what game?
So
though?
Civ 6, apropos, for, let's see here. Gold Edition.
for $40.
Gathering Storm.
70% off.
Yeah, so the base game of Civ 6 is on sale for $15, and the DLCs are pretty pricey at the moment. I wonder if there's like a combo pack, John, give me everything sort of thing.
Because Gathering Storm
Digital
just came out
Deluxe?
like last week.
$20.
Yeah, so that's going to
I
be
think it's the
expensive
gold
no matter
edition
what.
is everything.
But that's probably
Yeah.
why it's
Scenario pack.
here.
So many goddamn expansions. I don't see any mention of Gathering Storm there.
Who knows?
I don't know. The one drawback if you want to pay attention to stuff is that it can take quite a while for a Civ game to release all of its DLC, and therefore when you go to pick it up, it's hard to keep track of what you already have. Thankfully, Steam at least is pretty good about like if you get a bundle deal and it's something as part of that bundle you already have, it'll prorate it. It'll get rid of that because it knows it's already in your collection, and then it'll prorate the price accordingly, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So you don't have to if you just go to like a store and you want to but buy X number of things, get X dollar, get Y dollars off. Like, oh well, I already have like XYZ. I don't need another whatever. And this, Steam does account for that.
They
Doesn't look like there's currently a bundle that incorporates
Well, they're monitoring
the
all your
most
purchases,
recent
so.
thing, because that DLC Gathering Storm is $40.
Yeah, I mean, it came out last week, so
I mean, it sounds like a tremendous overhaul.
they did. As I said, they did a lot with it. Like, there's a lot. I think it was. I forget
All
how
things
much
said
it
and
was when I
done,
downloaded it, but it was
just
good.
from my experience with 5, it looks like it's easy to spend upwards of $100 on a Civ game
Probably.
throughout its lifespan.
If they had their build cycle where it got released like with all the DLC as they're like, this is the game that we're putting out, and they're like, we're going to charge you $100. We'll be done with it.
I'll bet in like a few months, like there will be a bundle that has Gathering Storm in it because it just came out.
Okay, XCOM 2 is on sale now. This
What is this?
This is a
Either-
turn-based, like tile. The map is split into tiles. Squad, command, battle game. So you have like a top-down view of your team. You're fighting these crazy aliens, and you can move however many spaces in a turn. And if you eyeball an enemy, you get the opportunity to try to strike them. It gives you percentage of hitting. It'll be like 80%, and the memes are all like, you miss anyway. But if you really fuck it up, the individuals on your squad can lose their minds, literally go crazy, and they try to run off the map for like 3 turns before they get it together. Or I think they'll attack anybody around them, or they'll just sit down on the ground and cry. And of course, they get more resistant to that as they progress in experience. Like often you'll pick up new recruits, and they go through levels, and you try to get your veterans to stick around. But it's a tough game because they die and then they're dead, and then you have a bunch of green.
They die and then they're dead.
A bunch of greenhorns. And it's basically alien invasion on the
that
planet.
order.
You don't have a lot of resources. The aliens are really powerful. I watched a playthrough of this. I really thought it was cool. Now it's so cheap. I'm probably gonna have to pick it up. I picked up the originals, and they were just so old. It was like the mechanics were hard for me to get around. There's the original XCOM, and then if you guys remember, I did XCOM, like to the Bureau, which was like a pseudo turn-based thing. Like I could pause the screen. It was a third-person shooter, but I could pause what was going on and command my squad to like flank the enemy, and then I play through it, which was really, really neat. That's supposed to be a good game. Mafia and Mafia 2 are on sale for 75% off.
Wait, what?
Oh, sorry, Mafia 3 and Mafia 2 and Mafia are all on sale.
What is that?
You know, the first one must be pretty good if it's $10 for Mafia, $7.50 for Mafia 2, and $10 for Mafia 3. Sorry. But the first one I know got really good feedback when it first came out. I think Mafia 2 is a pretty strong entry, and 3 they like went to the bayou and changed it up. But they're all supposed to be pretty fun and engaging games. If you're looking for like Grand Theft Auto that's not Grand Theft Auto, not quite as cheesy and goofy, these are good games to pick up.
Spec Ops: The Line. I watched a few reviews of and had the game basically spoiled for me. But it's a shooter that I think tries to question where the main character is a very conflicted person. There's like hallucinations and flashbacks, and it turns out he's a monster basically, and he has to like kind of come to terms with it for some of the shit he pulls in Warfare, kind of what we were talking about off mic here. And while it may, I believe that there are some critiques of it. Overall, especially at 80% off for $6, I'm probably going to pick it up and have my morals questioned. I'm into that. So apparently
That's
very
a good.
apparently it plays very well and is pretty intriguing for whatever problems it might have that come with it.
I'm not going to lie. I'm tempted by this WW2K19. Like, as I get older, I love wrestling, like the WWE more and more, even though I don't hardly watch it. But this series seems to come with some of the best glitches in the entire world, and also some really impressive, smooth gameplay when it's hitting on all cylinders. I mean, $20. If it's got a multiplayer that Genevieve and I can play, then I might have to pick it up because I bet we're both trash at this game.
Yes.
Oh my God. I was explaining this to somebody at work, like. The WWE is a meathead fantasy in that, like, if somebody does anything to you,
This is amazing.
that you don't like, it just becomes a vendetta, and then like you guys scream at each other in a ring in front of a ton of people, and then you haul off and alternate punching each other. Not like a real fight. You just throw these bombs at another grown person's face. And then when it's over, there's no long-term consequences. There's no brain damage. Everything's fine. Like,
also,
it's a simpler world.
this reminds me of the show I found the other night called Night Fights.
What?
Yeah, because, well, it's a group of people who've decided they want to train and fight in medieval timey armor from different eras. The reason this reminds me of that, besides the fighting element, is because there was, of 6 guys we saw going into the ring to fight each other, they all had normal names except for the one guy called Trash Panda. Everyone, it was so ridiculous. They were like, Trash Panda, you did XYZ good. You're going to move to the next round. Chris, you also did great this thing. And Adam, like, here you go. Like,
you know, there's a medieval warfare league in, like, it exists on the East Coast, and there's a team in Philadelphia. And like the whole point is you hit each other with weapons and you try to knock each other over, and you can get to grappling, and when you knock somebody on their back, you win or whatever. And I was like, maybe I'll give this a try. I'm a bit of a grappler. And then I looked up these helmets and they're like $300. I said, and I would need it custom made for my gigundous melon. So it's not in the budget. But yeah, that was pretty wild. It reminds me of the WWE, sure.
Yeah. Worth a watch.
All right.
I'd say we've pretty much exhausted the highlights here. I mean, there's always more stuff on sale.
There was a dating sim.
They're always on sale for like 10 cents or free. Like, you got to go into the browse and look at the cheapest shit. There's always
Hilarious.
some terrible dating sim. All right.
Who actually plays those?
I don't know.
Me. One time.
All right,
About
go.
her lies. Okay.
And that was it.
I'm going to pick up XCOM 2. Rise of Industry is tempting, but I've been burned too often by tycoon games. Chris Topher.
I'm going to say either the BioShock or the Dark Souls.
Don't you have both those games?
You can still
On
pick them.
console. I don't have them on PC.
Ooh.
I would go with BioShock.
I think BioShock also.
Shock to my bio, baby.
I think I've already I literally put it into my cart as we were sitting here talking. I'm going to go Spec Ops: The Line at $6.
Oh, I forgot about that. I'm going to have to buy that too. I might spend $22 today.
Oh my God.
Like a real video game sloot.
little game thought.
Yep. Little game thought. On that note, don't forget to always but never not with a McTwist thought. Cock 'em, lock 'em, and rock 'em, baby. bat.